Audiobook Summary for Optimal: How to Sustain Personal and Organizational Excellence Every Day by Daniel Goleman and Cherniss. Imagine stepping onto a tennis court, facing a legend like Serena Williams, with 24,000 fans roaring against you. The pressure is immense, the stakes are high, and yet, you find a way to focus, to block out the noise, and to play the best game of your life. That's exactly what Ajla Tomljanović did at the 2022 US Open, and it's the kind of moment that Daniel Goleman and Cherniss explore in their groundbreaking book, Optimal: How to Sustain Personal and Organizational Excellence Every Day. Welcome to this audiobook summary, where we'll dive deep into the science and practice of achieving your best self, not just in rare, fleeting moments, but every single day. Over the next hour, we'll unpack the book's insights on emotional intelligence, optimal performance, and how to build thriving organizations. So, settle in, and let's begin. Introduction: The Quest for the Optimal Zone. The book opens with a powerful story about Ajla Tomljanović, who defeated Serena Williams by entering what the authors call the optimal zone. Unlike the elusive flow state, those rare moments of peak performance where everything clicks, Goleman and Cherniss argue that the optimal zone is more accessible, more sustainable, and just as impactful. Flow, they explain, is like chasing a perfect day every day, which can lead to exhaustion or burnout. Instead, Optimal proposes a realistic goal: having a good day where you feel productive, engaged, and satisfied by your own standards. Goleman, a renowned psychologist and author of Emotional Intelligence, and Cherniss, an emeritus professor and expert in applied psychology, draw on decades of research to show how emotional intelligence, EI, is the key to unlocking this optimal state. They argue that EI, our ability to understand and manage our emotions and those of others, is not just a soft skill, but a critical driver of personal and organizational success. The book is a culmination of their work with the Consortium for Research on Emotional Intelligence in Organizations, CREIO, blending rigorous science with practical strategies. The narrative is structured in 4 parts: the emotional intelligence path to optimal performance, the details of EI competencies, EI at work, and the future of EI. Let's explore each part, weaving together the stories, research, and actionable insights that make this book a must-read. Part 1. The Emotional Intelligence Path to Optimal Performance. Picture yourself at the start of a workday. Your inbox is overflowing, your team is waiting for direction, and a deadline looms like a storm cloud. Yet, instead of spiraling into stress, you pause, take a deep breath, and feel a sense of calm focus wash over you. You're not in some rare, magical flow state. You're in what Daniel Goleman and Cherniss, authors of Optimal: How to Sustain Personal and Organizational Excellence Every Day, call the optimal zone. This is a place where you're productive, engaged, and at your best, not just once in a blue moon, but as a regular part of your life. In part 1 of their book, Goleman and Cherniss lay out the emotional intelligence, EI, path to this optimal state, offering strategies and practices that anyone can use to thrive. The optimal zone: redefining excellence. The journey begins with a simple but profound idea: you don't need to be perfect to be at your best. Goleman and Cherniss challenge the myth of the flow state, that elusive moment when everything clicks, like a basketball player sinking every shot or a writer churning out a masterpiece in one sitting. Flow is rare and fleeting, often requiring ideal conditions. Instead, they introduce the optimal zone, a more achievable state where you feel creative, focused, and satisfied with your efforts. It's about having a good day, one where you make progress, connect with others, and go to bed feeling accomplished. Strategy 1. Identify your good days. The first step to living in the optimal zone is recognizing what a good day looks like for you. The authors draw on a Harvard Business School study where professionals kept daily journals about their workdays. The results were eye-opening. Good days weren't defined by grand victories, but by small wins, like fixing a software bug, resolving a client issue, or even organizing a team lunch. These moments boosted mood, engagement, and productivity. Practice: start a good day journal. At the end of each day, write down 1 or 2 moments when you felt productive or satisfied. Maybe you helped a coworker troubleshoot a problem or completed a task you'd been dreading. Reflect on what made those moments meaningful. Over time, you'll spot patterns, what activities, interactions, or mindsets spark your optimal state. Example, meet Sarah, a marketing manager who felt stuck in a cycle of stress and burnout. Inspired by the book, she began journaling her good days. She noticed that days when she collaborated with her team on creative campaigns left her energized, while days spent in back-to-back meetings drained her. Armed with this insight, Sarah restructured her schedule to prioritize brainstorming sessions and delegated some administrative tasks. Her good days became more frequent, and her team noticed her renewed enthusiasm. The power of emotional intelligence. Why do some people consistently find their optimal zone while others struggle? Goleman and Cherniss point to emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage your emotions and those of others. EI isn't just a buzzword. It's a measurable skill that drives performance across all areas of life. In Part 1, the authors make a compelling case for EI's impact, backed by research that shows it predicts success more reliably than IQ in many contexts. Strategy 2. Cultivate positive emotions. Your emotional state shapes your performance. Negative emotions, like anxiety or frustration, narrow your focus and impair decision-making, while positive ones, like curiosity or gratitude, enhance creativity and problem-solving. A McKinsey survey cited in the book found that executives were 5 times more productive when in a positive emotional state. The goal isn't to be happy all the time, but to tilt the balance toward positivity. Practice. Try the 3 good things exercise. Each evening, write down 3 things that went well that day, no matter how small, and why they mattered. For example, I had a great conversation with a client because I listened patiently, or I finished a report early because I stayed focused. This practice, rooted in positive psychology, trains your brain to notice and savor positive moments, building a reservoir of optimism. Example, consider Javier, a high school teacher facing a challenging class of disengaged students. He was on the verge of burnout, dreading each day. After reading Optimal, he started the 3 good things exercise. 1 entry read, "A student smiled when I praised her essay because I took the time to notice her effort." Over weeks, Javier's perspective shifted. He began focusing on small victories, like a shy student participating in discussion rather than the chaos. His classroom became a place of connection, and his students responded to his renewed energy. EI and the bottom line, real-world impact. The authors don't just talk about EI in theory, they show its tangible benefits. In one study, college students with high EI scores earned higher salaries years after graduation, even when IQ and grades were factored out. In sales, EI is a superpower. Real estate agents with strong emotional skills closed more deals by staying calm under pressure and reading clients' needs. Even in technical fields like engineering, EI predicts success, especially in collaborative settings. Strategy 3. Build self-awareness. Self-awareness, the first pillar of EI, is about knowing what you're feeling and why. It's the foundation for managing emotions and making better decisions. Without it, you might snap at a colleague or miss a deadline because you didn't recognize your stress early. Practice a body scan mindfulness exercise. Set aside 5 minutes daily to sit quietly and notice your physical and emotional state. Are your shoulders tense? Is your mind racing? Label your emotions without judgment. Say, "I'm feeling anxious about this presentation." This helps you catch emotional triggers before they derail you. Example, take Emma, a software developer who often clashed with her team during code reviews. She felt her colleagues were overly critical, which made her defensive. After trying the body scan, Emma realized she felt anxious before reviews, fearing judgment. With this awareness, she prepared differently, asking for specific feedback and approaching discussions calmly. Her team noticed the change, and their meetings became more collaborative. Strategy 4. Strengthen social connections. EI also involves understanding others' emotions, which fosters stronger relationships, a key ingredient of the optimal zone. The Harvard study found that supportive interactions, like a colleague's encouragement or a manager's praise, were hallmarks of good days. Practice. Make micro-connections a habit. Each day, take a moment to genuinely connect with someone, a coworker, friend, or family member. Ask a thoughtful question, like, "How's that project going?" or offer a sincere compliment. These small gestures build trust and create a positive emotional climate. Example, Raj, a project manager, felt isolated in his remote team. Inspired by Optimal, he started scheduling 5-minute virtual coffee chats with colleagues, asking about their work and personal lives. One chat with a quiet team member, Lena, revealed her passion for data visualization, which Raj hadn't known. He assigned her a key role in a project, boosting her confidence and the team's output. Those micro-connections transformed Raj's team into a tight-knit, high-performing unit. Overcoming obstacles, from stress to resilience. The path to the optimal zone isn't always smooth. Stress, distractions, and setbacks can pull you off course. Goleman and Cherniss emphasize that EI equips you to handle these challenges by building resilience. They share a story of a nurse, Ashley Harlow, who faced overwhelming pressure during the COVID pandemic. By focusing on the meaning of her work, helping patients survive, she avoided burnout and stayed in her optimal zone. Strategy 5. Reframe challenges. EI helps you reframe setbacks as opportunities. Instead of seeing a missed deadline as a failure, view it as a chance to improve your planning. This mindset, called cognitive reappraisal, reduces stress and keeps you moving forward. Practice. When facing a setback, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Write down one lesson and one action you'll take. For example, if a presentation flops, you might learn to practice more and plan to rehearse with a colleague next time. Example, Lisa, a small business owner, faced a crisis when a major client canceled a contract. Initially devastated, she used the reframing practice. She wrote, I learned we relied too much on one client. I'll diversify our client base. Lisa reached out to new prospects, landing 2 smaller contracts that stabilized her business. Her resilience turned a loss into a growth opportunity. Part 2. Emotional intelligence. The details. Imagine you're in a heated meeting. Tensions are high, voices are rising, and you feel a knot of frustration tightening in your chest. But instead of snapping or shutting down, you take a moment to name that feeling, breathe, and listen, really listen, to what your colleague is saying. Suddenly, the room shifts. The conflict becomes a conversation, and you find a way forward together. This is the power of emotional intelligence, or EI, as Daniel Goleman and Cherniss explore in The Framework of Emotional Intelligence. Part 2 of Optimal is like a blueprint for building a better you. Goleman and Cherniss break EI into 4 domains, each a stepping stone to personal and professional excellence. Self-awareness helps you understand your emotions. Self-management lets you handle them wisely. Social awareness, or empathy, tunes you into others' feelings. And relationship management uses all these skills to inspire and connect. These aren't abstract concepts. They're practical tools you can use every day, whether you're navigating a tough conversation or chasing a big goal. Self-awareness, knowing your inner world. Strategy 1. Name your emotions. Self-awareness is the foundation of EI. It's about recognizing what you're feeling and why, so your emotions don't hijack your actions. The authors tell the story of a neurosurgeon who stayed laser-focused during a complex operation, even as the ceiling caved in. His secret? He was so attuned to his inner state that distractions couldn't shake him. Practice. Try the emotion check-in. A few times a day, pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Label the emotion, anger, excitement, anxiety, without judgment. Then, ask, what's causing this? For example, I'm anxious because I'm behind on a deadline. This simple act creates a mental pause, giving you clarity and control. Example, meet Priya, a graphic designer who struggled with feedback. She'd feel defensive when her boss suggested changes, which strained their relationship. After reading Optimal, Priya started doing emotion check-ins before reviews. One day, she noticed she felt irritated because she feared her work wasn't good enough. Naming this helped her approach the next review calmly, asking, can you clarify what you'd like adjusted? Her boss appreciated the openness, and their collaboration improved. Self-management, steering your emotions. Strategy 2, channel emotions productively. Self-management builds on self-awareness, helping you act intentionally rather than react impulsively. It's about cognitive control, like resisting the urge to check your phone during a task, or staying positive in tough moments. The authors share the example of Shannon Watts, a nonprofit founder who finds daily small wins, like a successful donor call, to stay motivated. Practice. Use the pause and pivot technique. When you feel a strong emotion, like frustration, pause for 10 seconds. Take a deep breath, then pivot to a constructive action. For instance, if you're upset about a coworker's mistake, instead of venting, pivot to offering help or suggesting a solution. Example. Consider Alex, a sales rep who often got flustered during client objections. He'd ramble, losing the sale. Inspired by Optimal, Alex practiced pause and pivot. During a tough call, when a client pushed back, he felt his heart race but paused, breathed, and pivoted to asking, "Can you share more about your concerns?" This shifted the conversation, and he closed the deal. Alex's confidence grew, and his sales numbers soared. Strategy 3. Build resilience. Self-management also means bouncing back from setbacks. The authors discuss burnout, exhaustion, cynicism, and feeling ineffective, and how EI fosters resilience. They mention breath exercises and gratitude as antidotes, citing a nurse, Ashley Harlow, who found meaning in her work during the COVID pandemic. Practice. Try a gratitude reset. When stress hits, write down 3 things you're grateful for, like a supportive friend or a task you completed. This shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right, building mental toughness. Example. Maya, a teacher, felt overwhelmed by her workload. She started a gratitude reset, noting things like a student's breakthrough in math or a quiet moment with coffee. This practice helped her see her impact, reducing her stress. Her students noticed her calmer demeanor, and classroom engagement improved. Social awareness. Tuning into others. Strategy 4. Practice active listening. Social awareness, or empathy, is about understanding others' emotions and perspectives. The authors outline 3 types: cognitive empathy, knowing what someone thinks; emotional empathy, feeling with them; and empathic concern, caring about their well-being. They share a study of financial advisors, where clients valued EI over technical skills because it built trust. Practice. Engage in active listening. In a conversation, focus fully on the speaker. Don't plan your response, just listen. Reflect back what you hear, like, "It sounds like you're frustrated because the project is delayed." This shows you understand and deepens the connection. Example. Liam, a restaurant manager, had a tense team. Servers complained about each other, and morale was low. After reading Optimal, he tried active listening during staff meetings. When a server vented about unfair shifts, Liam said, "I hear you're upset because you feel the schedule isn't balanced." This opened a dialogue, and the team collaborated on a fairer system. Morale improved, and customer tips increased. Strategy 5. Expand your circle of caring. Empathy can be limited by us versus them thinking, like when status divides teams. The authors suggest this circle of caring exercise to broaden your compassion. Practice. Visualize your circle of caring, people you naturally care about, like family or friends. Then, intentionally include someone outside it, like a distant coworker. Ask yourself, what might they be feeling? Take a small action, like checking in with them. Example. Sophia, an HR coordinator, felt disconnected from a quiet colleague, Mark. She did the circle of caring exercise, picturing Mark in her circle. She asked him, "How's your new project going?" and learned he was stressed about a deadline. Sophia offered to connect him with resources, building trust. Mark later became a key ally in a company initiative. Relationship management, building strong connections. Strategy 6. Use we language. Relationship management ties all EI skills together to influence and inspire others. It involves coaching, conflict resolution, and trust building. The authors highlight Blake Mycoskie, Tom's founder, who motivated his team by linking their work to a social mission. Practice. Adopt we language to foster collaboration. Instead of saying, "You need to fix this," try, "How can we solve this together?" This creates a shared purpose and reduces defensiveness. Example. Nina, a project lead, struggled with a team member, Tom, who missed deadlines. Instead of confronting him, she used we language. "I've noticed the project is behind. How can we get back on track?" Tom admitted he was overwhelmed, and they redistributed tasks. The project finished on time, and Tom felt valued. Strategy 7. turn conflicts into opportunities. Conflict is inevitable, but AI turns it into a chance for growth. The authors suggest approaching disputes with curiosity and empathy. Practice. In a conflict, ask an opportunity question, like, what can we learn from this? Or how can this make us stronger? This reframes the situation and encourages solutions. Example, Omar, a startup founder, faced a rift with his co-founder, Priya, over budget priorities. Instead of arguing, he asked, what can we learn from this disagreement? They realized they had different visions for growth. Through open dialogue, they aligned on a shared plan, strengthening their partnership and the company. Part 3. Emotional intelligence at work. Picture yourself walking into a buzzing office. Your team is tackling a tight deadline, but instead of chaos, there's a hum of collaboration. Ideas flow, conflicts are resolved with respect, and everyone feels valued. This isn't a fantasy. It's what happens when emotional intelligence, or EI, transforms a workplace. In Part 3 of Optimal, How to Sustain Personal and Organizational Excellence Every Day by Daniel Goleman and Cary, Cherniss, we see how EI moves from personal practice to organizational impact, shaping leaders, teams, and cultures. Let's dive in. EI at work, the foundation of success. Part 3 of Optimal shows that EI isn't just a personal skill, it's a workplace superpower. Whether you're a leader, a team member, or shaping an organization's culture, EI drives performance, engagement, and resilience. Goleman and Cherniss unpack how EI applies across roles, using research and stories to illustrate its impact. From debunking the IQ myth to building psychologically safe teams, this section is a playbook for making work a place where everyone can shine. The many names for emotional intelligence. Strategy 1. Reframe soft skills as essential. EI often hides under labels like soft skills or executive presence, but Goleman and Cherniss argue it's a hard necessity. Studies show EI outperforms IQ in predicting leadership success, as it fosters trust and adaptability. The authors share the story of Maggie, a lawyer who transformed a dull job by seeking out challenging bankruptcy cases, using EI to find meaning and excel. Practice. Identify one soft skill you can strengthen, like active listening or giving constructive feedback. For a week, practice it daily. Say, summarizing a colleague's point before responding. Track how it changes your interactions. Example, meet Tara, an IT analyst who felt overlooked for promotions. She realized her technical skills were strong, but her EI needed work. Inspired by Optimal, Tara focused on active listening during team meetings. When a colleague shared a coding issue, she paraphrased, "So, you're saying the bug is in the API integration?" This clarified the problem and built trust. Her team started seeking her input, and her manager noticed her leadership potential, leading to a promotion. Leading with emotional intelligence. Strategy 2. Inspire with empathy. Emotionally intelligent leaders create environments where people thrive. The authors contrast toxic bosses, who breed fear, with leaders like Microsoft's Satya Nadella, who fosters a growth mindset. Research shows EI leaders boost team performance and reduce burnout. A study of 2,100 nurses found that EI in leadership improved engagement, leading to better patient outcomes. Practice. Use the empathy check-in. Before a meeting or one-on-one, ask, how might this person be feeling? Tailor your approach. Offer support to a stressed team member or celebrate a win with an enthusiastic one. This builds trust and motivates others. Example, Javier, a retail store manager, struggled with a disengaged team. After reading Optimal, he started empathy check-ins. Before a shift, he noticed a cashier, Elena, seemed quiet. He asked, "Everything okay? You seem a bit off." Elena shared she was worried about a family issue. Javier adjusted her tasks to reduce stress, and Elena's performance improved. The team saw Javier as a caring leader, boosting morale and sales. Strategy 3. Foster a growth mindset. EI leaders encourage learning over perfection. Nadella's Microsoft turnaround is a prime example, where he shifted from a know-it-all to a learn-it-all culture. Practice. Praise effort, not just results. When a team member tries something new, say, "I appreciate how you tackled that challenge," even if it didn't fully succeed. This encourages risk-taking and growth. Example, Priya, a marketing director, had a team hesitant to pitch bold campaigns after a past failure. She adopted the growth mindset practice, praising a junior marketer, Sam, for a risky but creative ad idea. "I love how you push the boundaries here." Though the campaign needed tweaks, Sam felt empowered to refine it, leading to a viral hit that boosted the brand. Emotionally intelligent teams. Strategy 4. Build psychological safety. Great teams need EI at the group level. Google's Project Aristotle found that psychological safety, feeling safe to take risks, is key to team success. Researcher Vanessa Druscat notes that emotionally intelligent teams set norms like regular feedback to foster empathy and self-awareness. Practice. Introduce a safe space ritual. Start team meetings with a quick check-in, like share one win or challenge from this week. This builds trust and encourages openness. Example: Liam, a software team lead, faced a siloed team where developers rarely shared ideas. He started meetings with a check-in. "What's one thing going well or stressing you out?" One developer, Aisha, admitted struggling with a new tool. Another teammate offered to mentor her, sparking collaboration. The team's innovation surged, delivering a project ahead of schedule. Strategy 5. Set EI norms. Emotionally intelligent teams agree on behaviors, like resolving conflicts constructively. The authors cite IDEO's diverse team, which used EI to bridge differences and collaborate. Practice. Co-create one team norm, like we address issues directly but respectfully. Discuss it in a team meeting, agree on how to uphold it, and revisit it monthly. Example: Sophia, a nonprofit coordinator, led a team with clashing personalities. She proposed a norm: we listen fully before responding in disagreements. The team practiced it, and when a budget dispute arose, they debated calmly, finding a compromise. The norm strengthened their unity, and their fundraising campaign exceeded goals. EI training that works. Strategy 6. Commit to intentional change. EI can be learned, but it takes deliberate effort. The authors highlight programs like Progressive Insurances, which use assessments, coaching, and practice. Intentional change theory encourages envisioning your ideal self and working toward it. Practice. Create an ideal self vision. Write a paragraph about who you want to be at work, say, a confident, empathetic leader. List one EI skill, e.g., active listening, to develop, and practice it daily for a month. Example: Omar, a financial analyst, felt he lacked presence in meetings. He envisioned his ideal self as a clear, engaging communicator. Focusing on active listening, he practiced summarizing colleagues' points. Over weeks, his confidence grew, and his manager praised his contributions, assigning him to lead a client presentation. Building an EI culture. Strategy 7. Embed EI in systems. An emotionally intelligent organization weaves EI into hiring, training, and reviews. The authors cite BL companies, where CEO Carolyn Stanworth integrated EI, reducing turnover. Microsoft's cultural shift under Nadella is another success, emphasizing empathy. Practice. Advocate for one EI-focused change, like adding an empathy question to performance reviews, e.g., how have you supported your team? Pitch it to your manager or HR. Example: Nina, an HR manager, noticed high turnover in her company. She proposed including EI in hiring by asking candidates, how have you handled a workplace conflict? This weeded out poor fits and attracted collaborative hires. Within a year, employee satisfaction rose, and turnover dropped. Part 4. The future of emotional intelligence. Imagine a world where workplaces hum with creativity, where leaders inspire not just with vision, but with compassion, and where global challenges are met with empathy and innovation. This is the future that Daniel Goleman and Cary Cherniss envision in Part 4 of Optimal: How to Sustain Personal and Organizational Excellence Every Day. Here, they explore how emotional intelligence, EI, can shape not just our daily lives, but the trajectory of our organizations and society. Let's step into the future together. The future of EI, a broader vision. Part 4 of Optimal is a call to action, blending EI with qualities like curiosity and purpose to drive innovation and address global challenges. Goleman and Cherniss argue that EI isn't just about personal success. It's about creating a ripple effect that transforms teams, organizations, and even the world. From fostering creativity to tackling eco-anxiety, this section offers practical tools to live with intention and impact. The crucial mix: EI, curiosity, and purpose. Strategy 1. Cultivate curiosity. The authors highlight curiosity as a partner to EI, fueling learning and innovation. They cite Apple's Tim Cook, who hires for curiosity, knowing it drives breakthroughs. Curiosity, paired with EI's empathy and self-awareness, helps you ask better questions and connect deeply with others. Practice. Try a curiosity question daily. Ask someone, a colleague, friend, or stranger, an open-ended question like, "What's something you've learned recently?" Listen actively, using EI to pick up on their emotions and reflect on what you learn. Example: meet Aisha, a product designer feeling stuck in her role. Inspired by Optimal, she started asking curiosity questions during team brainstorms, like, "What's a user need we haven't considered?" One question sparked a discussion about accessibility, leading to a new feature that boosted her company's app ratings. Aisha's curiosity, guided by EI, made her a team innovator. Strategy 2. Connect to purpose. Purpose gives work meaning, amplifying EI's impact. The authors share the story of a NASA janitor who saw his role as putting a man on the moon, showing how purpose transforms even routine tasks. They warn that extrinsic rewards, like bonuses, can undermine this intrinsic drive, citing Alfie Kohn's research. Practice. Create a purpose statement. Write one sentence about why your work matters, like, "I help my team solve problems so we can serve our clients better." Revisit it weekly to stay grounded, using EI to align your actions with this purpose. Example: Javier, a customer service rep, felt his job was monotonous. He wrote a purpose statement: "I make customers' days better by solving their issues with care." Using EI, he listened empathetically to a frustrated caller, resolving their issue and earning a glowing review. Javier's purpose-driven approach turned routine calls into meaningful connections, boosting his job satisfaction. Innovation and systems. EI as a catalyst. Strategy 3. Foster creative collaboration. Creativity thrives when EI creates psychological safety and collaboration. The authors outline the creative process: preparation, incubation, insight, and verification, and share the story of Sydney Brenner, whose genetic breakthroughs came from empathetic teamwork. EI ensures diverse perspectives are heard, sparking innovation. Practice. Host a safe idea session. In a team meeting, invite everyone to share one wild idea without judgment. Use EI to listen and build on others' ideas, saying, "I love that. How could we expand it?" This creates a space for bold thinking. Example: Priya, a startup founder, noticed her team hesitated to pitch ideas after a failed product launch. She held a safe idea session, encouraging everyone to share. A junior engineer, Liam, suggested a niche market they'd overlooked. Priya's empathetic response, "That's a great angle, let's explore it," led to a pivot that attracted new investors. Her EI-driven collaboration turned a setback into a win. Strategy 4. Focus on your circle of influence. The authors address global challenges like eco-anxiety, urging readers to focus on their circle of influence, the areas where they can make a difference. The Dalai Lama's call for compassion underscores EI's role in systemic change, helping you act with clarity and empathy. Practice. Identify one issue in your circle of influence, like team morale or a community need. Use EI to understand others' perspectives, then take one small action, like organizing a team-building event or volunteering locally. Example: Sophia, an office manager, felt overwhelmed by climate change news. She focused on her circle of influence, her workplace. Using EI, she listened to colleagues' concerns about waste and proposed a recycling program. Her empathetic pitch won management support, reducing the office's environmental footprint and boosting team pride. EI for a better world. Strategy 5. Practice compassionate action. The future of EI lies in compassionate action, using empathy to drive change. The authors highlight Govan Brown's nonprofit, which empowers youth through mentorship, showing how EI and purpose can transform communities. Practice. Commit to one compassionate act weekly, like mentoring a junior colleague or supporting a local cause. Use EI to understand the recipient's needs, ensuring your action resonates. Example: Omar, a data analyst, wanted to give back but felt time-constrained. He started mentoring a new hire, Maya, using AI to gauge her struggles with coding. His weekly check-ins, filled with encouragement and tips, helped Maya excel, and Omar found renewed purpose in his role, inspiring him to mentor others. Strategy 6. Build systems for change. AI can reshape systems, from workplaces to societies, by embedding empathy and collaboration. The authors point to organizations that prioritize AI in hiring and training, creating cultures of innovation and resilience. Practice. Advocate for one AI-focused system change, like adding empathy training to onboarding. Pitch it with data, like how AI reduces turnover, and use AI to address stakeholders' concerns. Example: Nina, a school administrator, saw teachers struggling with burnout. She proposed AI workshops, using AI to empathize with the principal's budget worries and offering a low-cost pilot. The workshops taught active listening and stress management, improving teacher morale and student engagement. Nina's systemic change created a more supportive school culture. Conclusion: a roadmap to optimal living. As we close this summary of Optimal, let's reflect on its core message. You don't need to chase perfection to live your best life. By cultivating emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-management, empathy, and relationship management, you can enter your optimal zone more often, whether you're leading a team, parenting, or pursuing a personal goal. Goleman and Cherniss offer a roadmap grounded in science and enriched with stories of real people, from tennis players to CEOs, who've harnessed AI to thrive. The book's strength lies in its balance of research and practicality. It doesn't just tell you why AI matters. It shows you how to develop it through exercises like mindfulness, active listening, and team norms. It's a call to action for individuals and organizations to prioritize emotional intelligence, especially in a world facing rising stress, division, and uncertainty. For me, the most inspiring takeaway is the idea of small wins. Whether it's solving a problem at work or helping a colleague, these moments build momentum toward a fulfilling life. Optimal reminds us that excellence isn't about being the best every day. It's about doing your best with kindness and resilience in the moments that matter. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Optimal. If you're inspired to dive deeper, pick up the book or try one of the exercises, like journaling about your good days. Here's to finding your optimal zone every day.